So our discussion today, we've got basic exercise science, best workout formats, exercises for fat burning, building muscle, cellulite reduction, leaning your abs out, strength improvements, and the best home exercise fitness equipment. So, a lot of you will be training people from their own home. So, you need to know what to tell them from the most basic setup all the way to the more advanced setup, what to do. Very, very easy and simple to do. And so, we wanted to make sure that you had that information so you can do that. All right, so we're going to go on to the first page. You know what? I always hold on a second. I made a move here that I forgot to take care of something first. Well, what? Well, I send to Cindy. Hold on. I gotta message Cindy. Hold on a second. All right. Back to my screen share. Okay. All right. So the basic weight training workout session format template. So what happens in a workout session is always, obviously, you know this as being clients, you have to make sure that you or your client is warming up for a minimum of 3 minutes, up to 15, 20 minutes if you're doing an hour session with them, you're walking with them or doing some cardio with them. So the very minimum is 3 minutes. If they're running late and they try to jump in your session or whatever it is, no. They're running late, you're doing a Zoom workout with them, no. The answer is always no. You're warming up first. Every single injury that has ever occurred in the history of mankind with working out is from not warming up. That's the bottom line.
And when you're warming up, think about it in terms of two things. So if you're just doing, like a not too strenuous of a workout, kind of total body, nothing super heavy. If you're just walking on a treadmill, walking outside, and you're warming up for 5 minutes just to get the blood flowing and to get your body warm a little bit and to get your heart rate up a little bit, that's fine for that. So if you're doing that kind of a lighter workout, walking for 5 minutes is totally fine. If you're doing, let's say it's like Diane and you're doing deadlift day and you're going to try to go super heavy and max out or do like heavy doubles, then you need to strategically warm up, not only get your heart rate up and, go for your 5-minute walk, but then strategically warm up different muscle groups because you have to get the fascia moving. You have to get all those muscles moving through the full range of motion. You have to get the blood pumping through them to supply them. So warming up is not just something, we used to see this at Body by Todd, where people would like do jumping jacks for 3 minutes and they're like, okay, I'm hot, I'm warm, let's go. Okay, that's fine if you're not doing anything that serious. But if somebody's actually working out more seriously and heavy and more specific muscle groups, you need to specifically warm up those muscle groups in a strategic way.
Exactly.
It's not just, all right, I'm sweating, let's go.
Yeah, right. So if it's a powerlifting workout, you have to warm up for powerlifting exercises. If it's a track workout, you have to warm up for track exercises. Yeah. If it's for swimming, if it's for cheerleading. So when I have these little cheerleaders that I train, when it's for cheerleading, they have all pre-cheerleading warm-ups they have to do. So it has to be specific. If it's just a total body workout, then just stepping up and down, that kind of stuff is perfectly fine. There's not going to be anything that's too crazy intense on one body part. All right, so that's the importance, and that's why we're stressing that much about warming up. It's critical. Now, the most important thing to understand whenever you design a program is largest muscles need to be worked first. The reason is those large muscles need work first is because they're going to be supporting little muscles. Your little muscles don't really support big ones. So you always start with your big muscles first. So the order of this on this list, obviously your quads and your ass are the biggest muscles. Hamstrings, hips would be next up. Chest, then your lats, all the way down here, all across your back. Then your shoulders, then triceps is 3, bicep means 2. Then your calves and abs. So if you notice with our workouts, unless the workout on purpose is like BBL, the workouts are always formatted in this way to actually get the body, kick the body's butt all the way from the largest to the smallest. And that's how all programs are designed that way for just total body fitness or whatever. Even if you were to do a chest day with your if you're the coach and you're training them 2 or 3 days a week, a chest day, a lower body day, maybe a back and ab day, you're still going to do the same principle. You're going to work the biggest muscle first and then finish up with the little one. So if it's upper body, you're going to hit their chest because that's the biggest muscle. Hit their chest, a little bit of back, a little bit of lat pull downs to the chest, some shoulders, then you work into their bicep and tricep. So you don't want to go into bicep and tricep before you actually hit the chest. You don't want to waste the little muscles that need to be there to support the big one.
Right. So let's say it's like heavy bench day and you do a bunch of tricep dips and tricep extensions and then you try to bench. Well, actually that would teach you how much your triceps are involved in a bench press at that point. But you're doing your bench press, you get down here and then you're like, shit, I don't need power to push up. Because at that point your triceps are the thing that help you push back up. So that will show you how your triceps are involved in bench press. But when you're starting with something like bench press, your chest muscle is the biggest muscle in your upper body. And then you're also going to be recruiting your shoulders, some lats, tricep, bicep. So you want to do the exercises using 5 basically muscles at the same time. And then you finish burning out those specific single muscles later on.
Yep.
So then you can do tricep dips at the end and then they'll be toast.
Yep, exactly. Okay, so
but you need them, otherwise you're going to get stuck under the bench press.
Yeah,
and that's not a fun place to be.
Yeah, or stuck under a squat, or your leg press starts to feel impossible.
And then you're stuck at the gym and some guy has to come over and he's like, "Can I help you, little lady?" Because you literally have a bar stuck on your boobs.
All right, average number of sets per muscle group is about 3. So typically, what you'll do is you'll do 3 sets on the butt. 3 sets on the quads. The average reps per set are between 8 and 15. You notice you've done sessions with us for years, a lot of you. We're always in the zone, 6 reps, 7 reps, 8 reps, 10, 12. Rarely will I hit 15 unless it's abs or whatever, but higher reps is typically a lighter weight, which when you're trying to help someone actually build a little bit of muscle size and get stronger and burn more body fat, they got to stay in that lower range. It's not the lowest range like powerlifting, which is 2, 1, 3 reps, but it's in that zone where you can cause some growth to the muscle and actually strength gains to the muscle. So 8 to 15 reps is the average. Average reps for abs are 15 to 25 reps. It can be higher, be a little bit lower, that doesn't matter, but 15 to 25. So the abdominal wall is holding in our stomach, muscles and organs and everything all day long. So it's already an endurance muscle. That's what it is. Now, most people if you've ever seen someone with a 6-pack, a true 6-pack, most of those people have a lot of fast twitch muscle in their abs. So they can barely even do 2 sit-ups and then they're dying. They're in the fetal position. So most of us, the majority of people's abs are slow twitch muscle, which means all day long it's holding in everything and it can handle a lot of reps before it actually gets exhausted. The rare birds that I've trained over the years that had just deep 6-packs, make them try to do 1 set of 10 sit-ups and they're crying at number 5. They have so much fast
when I was training my brother for Air Force Academy.
Yeah.
And he had an 8-pack.
Yep.
And he could do like 5 sit-ups.
Yeah.
And so I put boxing gloves on him because he had to get ready to go to Air Force basic training. And I put boxing gloves on him because we were boxing. And then I was making him do sit-ups. And so I had the pads and I was standing on his feet. And it was bad because people didn't know he was my brother and QVR was happening right beside us. But I was literally like smacking at him and like batting at him like, "Come on, they're going to kick your ass in the Air Force. Come on." Because he could do 8 sit-ups. I need an 8-pack. I was like, "What good is your 8-pack? What good is it?"
Yeah.
And then her clients were like, "I don't want to train with her." I was like, "It's fine. He's my little brother."
So there are some abs that are straight up fast twitch muscle. They burn really easy.
They were pretty, but they were not usable.
Yeah, they look really good. But know that if you're one of those people, you know what I mean? Or if not, but fast twitch abs are, they're ripped typically most of the time. They don't get weight on them very easy. Any place where you've got a fast twitch muscle fiber on your body is most likely going to be the place where you have the least amount of cellulite, and we'll get to that in a second. Average rest between sets is 30 seconds to 1 minute. Yeah, you're lucky if you ever get that with us, but that's the typical 30 seconds to 1 minute.
Why we talk to people during their workouts, because you have to get them distracted for 30 seconds, especially if you have a guy that doesn't want to talk and just wants to work out. You got to slow his roll down a little bit.
Just a little.
Just a little bit.
Just a little. But like we already taught you, the first 15 minutes are the most critical 15 minutes to actually get the heart rate up, get everything going for the most fat burning. So I don't really approve of a ton of rest in those first 15 minutes. So, and we didn't get trained that way either. All right, so we're moving on. Next page. The big five major muscle groups of the body and their function. There are more than 600 muscles in the body. Muscles are considered the only tissue in the body that can contract and move the other body parts. So no other part of our body moves other body parts. Only the muscle can move body parts. 40% of your body weight is made up of muscle. So that's kind of cool to know. So 40% is muscle tissue. Basically, these muscles are used for locomotion, first and foremost, but also for achieving complex and impressive moves and burning fat while at rest. Talking about that, the difference between a guy and a girl is drastic differences when it comes to burning fat at rest. So we all burn fat when we sleep all night long. We burn fat when we're just seated because it's a very efficient energy source to use. The more muscle that's on your body, the more fat you're going to burn when you're seated or sleeping. So men have 30% more muscle than we do genetically. So they burn 30% more calories than we do in a day. They lose weight 30% faster. So you need to know that. Any guy and girl, let's say you got a husband and wife couple that you work out, you better be prepared ahead of time and let them know, because she's going to get pissed off at him. She's going to get angry at him for losing weight faster than her. So he's going to drop weight 30% faster.
Let's also say that for a girl that says, I don't want to gain any muscle. And she's like, no, can I just do 5-pound dumbbells? No, you're not going to get shit done.
Right.
And you actually need muscle to burn the fat off.
Yeah.
And what you don't like about your body is the fat. I guarantee it. You're not having a problem with any muscles that you currently have.
Exactly.
Or might have in the future.
Exactly. So that's another thing to understand. So it's already, you know, most females, when they have looser skin, they have looser muscle fiber. They don't work out with enough weight. Like she just said, they want to lift 5-pound dumbbells. Well, a typical female arm is 8 pounds. So every day when you walk, you swing 8 pounds with you.
And think about how much your purse weighs. Like,
if your purse is 15, now we got 20 over here.
People, the best thing for girls, when they're like, can I just lift 5 pounds? I'm like, your purse weighs more than that. Pick something else up. Not at Kroger.
Exactly. So the weight in the hand has to weigh at least what the arm weighs or more for it to change the arm.
It has to be a challenge. Otherwise, nothing's going to happen.
Yeah. And so, again, you have to know this information we're teaching you, because you have to be able to motivate people to actually lift 8 pounds, 10 pounds, 12 pounds, 15, 20, 25 pounds. And the best way to do it is not because I said so.
Yeah.
It's give them the info. You're walking around with 8-pound arms. We got to lift 8 to 25 pounds as a female to actually change your muscle.
Yeah, so that's constantly teaching people to overcome their objections and their fears and just
their stupidity.
I was going to say ignorance to be nice, but it's like, I don't know where you got that from or who taught you that, but you're wrong. Now let me explain to you why. Yeah. And you have to make it a little bit fun.
Yeah. And being a coach, that's the cool thing about being a coach. That's what you're doing. You're just coaching them. Right. You're coaching them through ignorance. You're coaching them through a myth. You're coaching them like Todd had to do with me. He had to coach me through the bullshit from Shape Magazine that I was addicted to in the 90s. So all the lies in Shape Magazine, just such a crock of shit. And so he had to coach me through all those kind of things. They're just BS. And so when you actually understand the human body, you understand the muscles. So we've got 600 of them. Just on a note, the average female leg is about 50 pounds. So each leg is about 50 pounds. So if you put leg extension on and you got 25 or 35 pound leg extension for 2 legs, this person's walking around with 50-pound legs already. Right. So just know that. It is vital to know the major muscle groups, especially in improving your body. Knowing the right kind of exercise in every muscle group has a powerful impact. You must focus on each muscle group. Here are a few reasons why. Number 1, it prevents injuries, improves posture, prevents muscle imbalances, refrains from aches and pains, makes you get stronger and increases your performance, makes you faster in your performance, and it builds muscle faster. To achieve these benefits, it's important to know the body's 5 major muscle groups: chest, back, arms, shoulders, abs, legs/butt, and their function. You're going to read the next part. Okay.
Chest muscle. This is a pushing function. The main muscle group of the chest is the pectoralis. A well-developed chest is very important because it will add major size to your inner upper body. What is an inner upper body? Okay. Anyway, the pecs are the largest chest muscle. They're full of thick muscle fibers and add size to the upper body. For girls, they make your boobs curvier. The chest is divided into two parts, pec major, pec minor. Provide support when you hold objects in front of you, and they're activated when you reach across your body. Pecs are activated in many everyday movements, mainly at the shoulder joint. For instance, when you grab a seatbelt or comb your hair on the opposite side, you're using your pec muscle. Another is a basic task like reaching into your back pants pocket or to tuck in your shirt. Women should add in more chest exercises on a high incline bench versus men on a flat bench. Back muscles, also a pulling function.
No, that is pulling. That's the opposite. The other one was pushing.
Oh, okay. Back muscles, pulling function. So if you have a push-pull day or you split things up by push and pull, this is what this is referring to. The back is the most complex major muscular structure in the entire body. It is a perfect combination of multiple muscles working in harmony and complementing each other in various physical activities. The back rises from the butt and stretches to the neck and shoulders. So if you've ever had our massage therapist, sports massage therapist Chuck work on you, I didn't know when I said my neck's tight that he was going to go down and start working at my tailbone. And he was like, no, those are the same muscle. Those are the same muscles and the same neurons. And when you were a little embryo egg, they were actually connected. And then your back grew in between there. So you have to go down and loosen up the low back to get the neck to really relax.
Oh my God.
So that just goes to show how much you can feel literally.
So great.
And then that's how those things get fixed.
Yeah.
There are essentially 5 muscle groups present in the back. They are latissimus dorsi, the large flat muscle in the back that stretches to the sides behind the arms. The rhomboids are located on the upper back. They're underneath the trap and not visible from the outside. They're from the spinal cord and go to the scapula. So basically, those are the things that are between your shoulder blades. From your shoulder blades into your spine. That's what the rhomboids are. Trapezius, the traps, that's this thing right here. Guys think it's awesome when it pokes out. Located between the shoulders and neck. You can read the details later. Teres muscle. This muscle lies underneath the lat. It works with the lats as well as the rotator cuff. Exercises like single arm lat pull down and pullovers.
Oh, I love those.
Yep, that's why we do those a lot.
I love those.
Target this muscle directly. Compound exercises like deadlifts, shoulder press, and rows also target this muscle. Erector spinae. The erector spinae or spinal is a set of muscles that straighten and rotate the back. They're actually deep muscles that help to extend the spine and are key in posture. They're also important when bending forward and sideways movements.
All right, we're going to move on to the arm and shoulder muscles. Biceps, triceps, deltoids, clearly you know what those are, but bi means 2, tri means 3. If a guy that you're training wants to get his arms bigger, you think we should be doing a bunch of bicep curls? Yes or no? Or a bunch of triceps for him? Biceps, show me your thumbs.
Why can't we do both?
Show me your thumbs. Biceps, should we do a lot of biceps or do a lot of triceps? Should we do a lot of biceps? Thumb up or down? What you got?
See you.
Okay, we got, okay, keep going. I'm still looking.
Wait, let's roll.
Biceps, should we do a lot of bicep curls? Okay, all right, wrong. Lisa was right. Lisa was right. Well, we got 3 big muscles in the back of the arm. 3. We only got 2 little muscles in the front of the arm. 2. But I know the reason all you people said yes to biceps, because every time you go to the gym, you see them doing bicep curls nonstop. It's the worst way to get a guy's arms to grow.
And what actually makes a guy, well, a girl too, but what, wait, I gotta see myself.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what actually is going to make your arm thicker is going to be this growing out this way and not so much this. So the bicep, you really see it just like when you flex and a guy like makes it. So yeah, he can do biceps and like flex and impress girls, whatever. Yeah. But when a guy's just standing there, what's actually going to make his arm thicker and look built is getting that whole back of the arm built.
Tricep.
Yeah.
So you want to work the area that's got more muscles in it, which is the tricep. And so to make his arms grow when you're coaching him, no matter how dumb he is, oh no, I do tons of bicep curls, triceps make the arms grow. So the whole arm will grow. It'll be bigger and thicker when he has a bigger tricep. And then he does a little bit of biceps too. Shoulders
But the
also.
biceps more like the finishing muscle. That's like, all right, let's pump it up and make it look finished. That's not the main strength mover. You can always tell the guys at the gym that don't know what they're doing because they just do 8,000 bicep curls.
Exactly. And a lot of times, most of you realize just doing bicep curls, you're pretty weak. But when you can go heavy on deadlift, or you can do a pull up or a chin up, or you can actually do heavier rows, those are using your biceps. So that's actually one of the best ways to get your biceps to grow as well, not just bicep curls.
Well, and also do it as a compound movement. Like I have people do squat overhead press or stiff leg overhead press all the time, because I don't think I've done a regular bicep curl in like 3 years.
I know. Deltoids. So we got 3 chicken tenders on the top of our shoulders here. Very tiny muscles. That's why they burn so fast. You got a front one, you have a middle one, and you got your back one. And so they burn out very, very quickly, especially if there's fast twitch muscle in there versus slow twitch. So you've got 3 deltoids, and you need to make sure that you're always watching your own form when you work shoulders, and you watch your client's form when you work shoulders. They can get injured very easy.
The number one thing that I see that people do wrong when it comes to shoulders, and I know this because I disciplinated my shoulders and in my gymnastics career for 20 years, but they go above the actual joint of the shoulder. So when you go here, you literally lose flexion. So if you do it right now, you can feel nothing about your deltoid is actually flexed or controlling the situation.
Yeah.
This muscle is actually what's flexed and holding it up past that point. So to keep your deltoid flexed, you literally want to keep your elbow right below it, not even quite to parallel. So that's why when you see people fatiguing at the gym, even if they just go halfway up, you're still working that deltoid. You're just totally burning it out. So I'd rather people not even go all the way to parallel, just keep it right under, and even lift a heavier weight and just go like 3/4 of the way up. So just remember that, because this, not only does it go from flexing the deltoid to like it's totally loose and now other things are flexed, but if you're trying to throw a heavy weight and then you have this ball and socket joint, that's a very dangerous place to take people.
Yeah, exactly. The ab muscles.
Every fitness enthusiast's favorite muscles are the abs. They're also the hardest thing to get to be visible. The abs assist in the breathing process, protect your organs, key and twisting, a lot of other things going on. Good for posture. Okay. Obliques. The muscle group on the side of the abs are the obliques. Movement of these muscles may result in several actions, but they're best known for their lateral flexion and rotation of the trunk, known as a side bend. The obliques help support the spine from the front. They're also vital in keeping a good posture.
On this next page, it looks like it may not be ab muscles.
You actually should be flexing your abs during every single movement, especially squats and deadlifts. So you actually should be working your abs the entire workout.
Right. But a lot of times, even if you tell clients to do that, they can't even feel it.
They don't even know.
When they have too much visceral fat, as we discussed towards the first lesson, when you have too much visceral fat, one of the ways to test that you have too much visceral fat is suck your stomach in. And when you suck your stomach in, A, it doesn't move. You can't even get it to suck in. B, it hurts. And so when you try to suck in and it actually causes you pain, you've got too much visceral fat. So trying to actually flex it when there's too much visceral fat there, they're not going to be able to do it anyway. But when they're more fit and they have more control over their muscles and they have a leaner set of abs, they absolutely can flex it better. Now these muscles, they don't sound like they're part of your abs on this part 2, but they are fully connected to the abs. And you'll notice yourself when you actually work out, or your clients that you're coaching, they're like, why does this hurt? We're doing abs, we're doing crunches. Why does this burn? Why does this hurt? These things are all connected into that huge abdominal wall. So your gluteus medius, so that's one of the gluteal muscles, connects, and it's more on the inside where your femur is, and it's by your hip flexor. So a lot of times you're going to burn your hip flexors out. It's going to hurt at your hips. We're talking about these muscles here. The maximus, even though this is the butt, it's still connected in several places to the pelvis, and it will burn out as well. let's say that you got your hands under your butt with your legs out, and you're doing your legs up and down, or you're doing scissors. Your butt is helping, but your butt is connected into those abs in that zone. Serratus anterior muscle, this is connected to the rib cage, and this helps stabilize your shoulder, but it also gets burned out like crazy when you're doing abs. And then your psoas major. So these muscles connect to the lower part of the spine, femur, abs, and flexing the hips. Again, it's your psoas that's getting burned out a lot of time. Mm-hmm. And your psoas will actually get injured by the way you sleep if you're sleeping with one of your legs pulled up. You have to be very careful. When we get clients to say, oh, my hip's hurting or my lower back's hurting, we both had it. It's actually the psoas is getting shortened from sleeping with one knee pulled up, or you're sleeping in the fetal position with both knees up. No can do. No can do. You got away with it till you're 25. Can't do that shit anymore. It will literally start to injure your back and your hip, and you or your client will think it's a back or hip injury, and it's just your psoas cramping up. You're going to need really good massage to loosen it up, and you're going to have to stop sleeping that way. That's the cause. And that is an ab move that you're doing. All right, you're on.
Legs and butt muscles, my favorite. Hamstrings. Hamstrings are the big muscle group in the upper back part of your thigh, Main function is to bend your knees and help propel your body forward in such activities as walking, running, jumping, kicking. Also used during squats and deadlifts.
And that's a big, big, big muscle that gets pulled during running. Why? They didn't warm up. 2, they're not strong in their hamstrings.
You'll also notice, so when there's a muscular imbalance between your quads and your hamstrings, that's when your hamstring gets pulled because it's not strong enough. Mm-hmm. So because these opposing muscles, one's pulling one way, one's pulling the other way, it's like a tug of war. It's like when you break a wishbone, like the weakest link is going to break. Mm-hmm. So when your quad is too strong, it's literally pulling and propelling your body forward and making your body do a certain level of work. And if your hamstring can't keep up, it's going to be the weak end of the wishbone. So that's why it's important to make sure you work your hamstrings. And when you're watching your clients, make sure they're actually engaging their hamstrings, because you can do a squat and put your weight in your toes, which is also going to fuck up your knees, but it's going to not engage your hamstrings. Where when you always hear me say, sit your butt down, get your weight back in your heels, lean back more, or if people just aren't getting it and they don't have that mind muscle connection, I will make them sit down on the bench and stand back up, and we'll just do squats that way, and we'll add weights to it. So if I'm watching them and I see that they're not doing the right form and they're not engaging their hamstrings, I have to change the way I'm directing them and change the programming to make sure those muscles engage, because it's my responsibility to make sure they don't end up pulling a hamstring because I built up their quads and didn't make their hamstrings work. Your glutes. Glutes are the muscle of your butt that are in the largest muscle group in your body. They're the key muscles in movement of the legs backwards and sideways. The glutes also help you maintain balance or running, in walking or running. Can't talk today. All right, so glutes, backwards, sideways movements, make sure we work those, especially if you're sitting a lot during the day or people are sitting a lot, you have to actually force those glutes to re-engage. Quads, see these are the front of your leg. 4 huge muscles, front of your leg. It's the second largest major muscle structure in the human body after the back. It's located in the upper front part of the leg. It's responsible for the flexion and extension of the leg muscles. The 4 huge muscles are you don't care what their name, just read it. Gastrocnemius, this is your calf muscle. You know where your calves are. Yep. Okay.
All right. We're moving on. All right. So what's going to happen is we're going to have practice exercises loaded to the app this week that will be grouped, and they'll be grouped by these big 5. Yeah. So what we just went over, you're going to have workouts in the app that's just going to be here's 1 through 5. You're going to do them all to yourself. You're going to do all those exercises to yourself, and that way you're like, okay, I fully am getting this. Plus, on the app, you can watch the video and then actually do it if you have any questions or whatever. So we're just going to have a variety of exercises that match each one of those 5 groups, and then that will be what you do, and you'll practice all 5 of those workouts over the next 7 to 10 days. Got an idea behind that? Burning excess body fat and cellulite reduction. So you see that picture right there with that girl grabbing that cellulite on her legs. So research Researchers have been debating the question for decades when it comes to fat loss. Is it better to do HIIT or just traditional cardio like the bike or walking or jogging or whatever? Before we dive into the research on moderate intensity versus high intensity, may be helpful to clarify a couple of different types of interval training because definitions can vary depending on who you ask. There's two popular forms of interval training. There's HIIT or traditional cardio. Which one is best? So everything comes down to who you're training and what they want. So do they have a lot of cellulite? Do they not have a lot of cellulite? Do they have a lot of fast twitch muscle? Do they have a lot of slow twitch muscle? Fast twitch people are the runners, the sprinters in track. They look like it. They got the bigger thighs, the narrow butts, the bubble butts. They like to do heavier weight and low reps.
Sure.
The not sprinters, but the endurance athletes, the people who have a smaller leg, a higher calf muscle. They like to do the marathons. They like to do the 5Ks. They like to do the 100-mile bike thing. They're the ones that are going to enjoy long, intense cardio, and they've got more slow twitch muscle fiber. So both people have completely different preferences, and their body's going to adapt based on how you train them. So that's why you're going to look over that body type. And obviously, one of the lessons in the Fit Coach Academy is going to be body types when we get to that.
And you can do both. Like you can train somebody who's more of a sprinter, intense body to do endurance.
A little bit.
But as you can see from the way I'm talking, it sucks. So if you make me train like a full-out bodybuilder and I have to do lighter weights and I have to do like 20 reps of everything, I tried that one day just because I try everything. And I literally wanted to shoot myself halfway through the workout. It was one of the most boring things I've ever done in the gym.
Yeah.
And I was like, that I'm never doing this. Like, I don't care if it's good. I don't care who it's good for. It's not, I'm literally not going to do the workout. So nothing about this is going to be good for me. Likewise, when quarantine started, I was like, well, let me jog a mile. And I did that 3 times, and I never want to do that ever again.
Now, what you need to understand is, and we've worked with all the trainers in this city, so over the years, what you want to never become is you never want to be the person who works people out because what you're supposed to do.
Right.
So that will get you to have no clientele and lose your clients faster than anything on planet Earth. So you want to train the person based on their body type, what their strengths are. You still work on their weaknesses, but you don't waste their time and your time training them in a way that they hate. That's so stupid to do. And that's not going to be the sport that they actually did growing up. All of us gravitate to do the sports or the fitness that actually matches our body type. And so that's just what all of us do. When I train girls, when I personally train for Miss Fitness competitions that match my body, doing it, it was very, very heavy into the actual fitness routine at the time versus just a bikini. That's just the bikini and just dieting. So same thing with Brittany with gymnastics. Her body is built for gymnastics. So you have to see when you're dealing with someone, when you ask them the questions in the evaluation process, what do you like? What do you hate? Don't go near the stuff they hate. It's the same thing with music. If they're live and you're playing music and they say they hate rap, don't start playing a bunch of rap. Or they hate, country, don't play a bunch of country. So you want to make sure that the workout is fun to them and exactly what they want and the experience that they want to have.
And it's going to be what gets them results. Like we joke with Stacy all the time. Like, oh, Stacy's late. She's missing the jogging. But if you look at Stacy's quads and the size of quads that she has and how ripped they are, Stacy's clearly not a jogger. Okay. Not what we should have Stacy do. No. Not going to get her anywhere.
Right.
And all the joggers are going to be like, what the fuck are your quads? They're going to be like, how do I get those?
Yeah, sprinter legs versus endurance legs. Exactly. Okay, so we're on to HIIT. This is when you perform 1 to 4 minute bouts of activity at an intensity equivalent to 80 to 100% of your max heart rate. So pretty intense. And so like in the boot camp, when we're doing more of the intense moves in the boot camp, that's how you know it's more HIIT style training. These intense bouts are followed by lower intensity recovery periods. So that's exactly how we do it. So we're going back and forth, jumping back and forth, or then we get up, we start doing just some more mild exercises. We're doing short bouts. That's it. HIIT.
You can also do this if you're outside and let's say you're at the track and you're like, okay, I'm going to run a lap and then walk a lap, run a lap and then walk a lap. And then after you get an even better endurance shape, you can run a lap and then slow jog a lap, run a lap, slow jog a lap. So that's another good visual when you think about HIIT.
Yeah, well, the next thing says sprint interval
Oh,
training.
I didn't read.
Thank you.
Okay.
So the first one's hit, the second one's sit, and then Brittany fucked it up, so now it's shit. Anyway, we're talking about sit now. Sit is more intense than it. Here you alternate 8 to 60 seconds all-out sprints.
There you go.
Done at 100% intensity with a short recovery. And that's when you go, oh shit, I'm gonna die.
No.
These two forms of interval training are typically compared to moderate intensity cardio, like running or cycling, performed at 50 to 70% maximum heart rate. So someone that's training for a 5K, 10K marathon, they're not going to be training at that high intensity like a sprinter. So that's kind of the difference between the two of those. So you need to know when to incorporate HIIT training or sit, and then sit training would be a pretty intense athlete that you're training. So what does the research say? While you burn more energy, which is calories per minute during interval training, you may not be able to go long enough to match the overall volume of moderate intensity cardio session. While it's true you burn more energy after HIIT and sit than a moderate intensity workout, the afterburn effect, the amount is minimal on the afterburn. Now, what about the fat burning zone? So here's where you need to know the difference between why I train with HIIT versus why I tell people to do cardio. So our bodies use 3 sources of fuel to power exercise in every day. Different activities every day. Carbs, fat, and protein. We're always using all three, all day long. When it comes to weight loss, you want to use fat as the primary fuel. So you can hold on to the carbs for your thinking and the protein for your muscles. When you exercise at an easy conversational pace, you can talk to the person you're walking with. Mm-hmm. You can have a conversation the entire time. Your body pulls primarily from fat. So it's pulling from the fat. That's what it's using. You increase the intensity and it becomes harder to speak in full sentences. Now your body's using carbs. They're going to use what you think with. And so it's going to kind of make you dizzy or whatever. Then if you shift into higher intensity exercise, you're able only to say 2 words at a time. Your body switches using another form of carb known as glycogen.
And that's what's stored in your muscle.
That's stored in the muscle. So that's those are the energy systems that are getting used and why you use them. So sometimes we're burning up carbs for fuel. HIIT is going to do that. We want to burn up fat as the main fuel when the person has body fat to lose. If this person is already lean, they're not going to have a lot of body fat. They're going to burn up mainly their carbs. And so they're going to most likely like to do more HIIT activities, boot camps and stuff like that because they don't have a lot of body fat. But when the person's got more body fat to lose, they need to do more endurance and they need to do more slow cardio. So best calorie burning cardio is, while you burn a higher proportion of fat when you exercise at a lower intensity, 60% of calories burned come from fat versus 35% during high intensity exercise. You actually burn more total fat from interval training, but it's just not as much.
Can we go back for a second?
Yep.
On your last slide, it said, can you go, sorry, I can't see it.
Wait, hold on, we're
trying to see who's talking. Who's talking?
It's Stacy.
Okay, we're still looking for you.
She go to the top now because she's talking? Oh.
There she is. Okay,
all right.
Go ahead.
Go back on the slide, though.
Go back on the slide.
Yeah, if you go to slide 15, it said about on the left, it said, this is where I was just confused. So you burn more calories per minute during the interval training.
Calories doesn't mean fat. Calories doesn't mean fat.
But it said you can't keep it up long term. So let's say like I go for a 70-minute walk versus if I can sustain, like if I'm doing HIIT training, I might be able to get a good 20 or 30 minutes in of that, but I can go for like a 70 or 2-hour walk.
2-hour walk.
And so the main point of this that I think you're trying to ask is when you're developing a training schedule for somebody, you have to start with what their body can actually do and actually sustain, because I can't even tell you how many times I've overloaded my body and then I can barely walk by Friday of a week and then I'm like, wait, what the fuck? I can't even stick to this. So you want to make sure that you are giving people time to recover, and you don't want to just load them with intensity. So let's say you're working out here and you're doing weights with me 3 days a week. Well, I'm not going to tell you to start doing HIIT or sprint intervals or something super intense also at home, because I want your intensity for the time you're with me. And because you're not a pro athlete working out 3 hours a day, your body doesn't know how to recover in a 12-hour period and get ready for more. So I would tell you, all right, go for a 60-minute walk 5 days a week. And it's not going to feel like you're pushing super hard, because you're not, but it's going to burn calories and burn fat without burning out your muscles. And it's going to allow your body to recover.
Okay, so that's what you mean about the last part where it says the amount is minimal and the amount of like recovery is minimal versus the amount of calories is minimal. Is that what I understand?
Correct. And also, if you can only do 20 minutes of HIIT, then you're only getting what you burned in those 20 minutes. Versus if you can walk for 90 minutes, you might be burning more calories proportionally in 20 minutes, making it more efficient. But if I only get 20 minutes out of you and you only burn 200 calories, well, I need you to walk for 90 minutes and I need 600 calories out of you. So if I want 600 calories burned off for the day, if you just did the math, you'd be like, all right, well, 40 minutes of HIIT or 30 minutes of HIIT and I'll get it done. No, you can't push that hard for 30 minutes. You're not a pro athlete.
Not yet. Not
Right.
yet.
Right.
Yeah. So
Got
that's why that. Okay. So you understand. So after burning means how many more calories you're burning after the actual activity. And that's why she was saying that.
Yeah.
That if
Okay.
you can actually walk for 90 minutes, you're going to burn way more calories
Overall.
for your afterburn.
No, don't bring it afterburn into walking.
Yeah. Okay. Into
Okay.
walking,
Yeah,
but
just
it
move
still is more than 20 minutes of HIIT.
Right.
All right.
Thank you.
The afterburn effect is when you do something intense like weight training, your body's burning calories for, 6 hours to 24 hours after you work out.
Yeah, that kind of intensity.
Yeah. But still, if you're at the point where, you need to walk for 90 minutes to get to your goal, then do that versus kick your ass for 20 minutes.
Does that answer your question? Okay.
Which type of cardio should I do? All right. It may sound cliche, but the answer is the type of cardio you enjoy and will commit to in the long term.
Bottom line. Bottom line.
And I like the cardio where I can just literally, I don't even want to walk anywhere entertaining. I just want to walk in a straight line and zone out and listen to a book on tape or music. Like I want no walking through a neighborhood thinking I might get lost. Science is great, but it can sometimes take the humanity out of the training.
Uh-huh.
In other words, while one study may indicate HIIT is better than moderate intensity for weight loss,
Mhm.
you shouldn't force yourself to do HIIT if you can't stand it.
Bottom line. Or your client.
Right.
Yeah.
So your best bet is to perform a combination of moderate intensity and high intensity cardio, as long as you enjoy both forms of cardio, that is.
Exactly. Exactly. So we have clients that we train all over the world from the app. And I immediately ask, what'd you like about last month's workout?
Mhm.
What did you hate about it? Oh, I hate this. Don't have me do this. I hate doing sprints, blah, blah, blah. And so I just make sure that I give them a variety after I find out. Sometimes they'll say, I'll just try everything. And then once they try it, they're like, oh, I never want to do that again. And so we'll remove things that they say they can't stand. or
Right.
whatever.
But like for Stacy, I'm not going to give her, for example, a workout that has like interval burpees, because I'm going to be like, Stacy, how'd you like it? And she's going to be like, I puked every day that I did it. I'm going to be like, oh, okay, we won't do that again. So there, Stacy, did that answer your question? You might get a good afterburn effect from burpees, but if you vomit every time, why are we going to do that?
And then you hate it and you quit.
There we go. I think we finally answered the
Hate it
question.
and quit is not the
Right.
Yeah. What's good is what they enjoy to do and they'll keep doing.
And don't vomit on.
Yeah, exactly. Aerobic training methods. So this is typical, and a lot of people have apps, so they have their Fitbit, they have everything that tells them the amount of calories they burn. This is on average: walking 300 to 400 calories an hour, running 600 an hour, cycling 600, rowing 840,
I hate rowing.
swimming.
That's another good example. I hate rowing.
I like it.
I hate it. I literally hate every second of it, and I die. I don't care how many calories it burns.
Swimming burns 600. You better be a good swimmer.
I hate swimming also.
Yeah, you got to be a good swimmer for swimming to actually burn those
I want to
calories.
be on a floaty.
Jump rope burns 1,000 calories for an hour, except for Mike Tyson. I don't know who can last 1 hour on the jump rope, but oh my God, I got up to about 40 minutes. It's intense.
40?
40. When I was training for one of my fitness shows, I could do 40 minutes an hour. I couldn't do an hour. I could do 40 minutes, but it was intense as hell. But 1,000 calories is a real deal. And that's got an afterburn effect. It feels like it goes on for a week. HIIT about up to 1,200 calories an hour. So that's why.
If you can push for an
many
hour.
people, yep, per hour. So 600 if it's a half hour, whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So that's per hour.
But if you're like doing HIIT and you're like delirious and half-assing it in the last 30 minutes, you're not burning that many calories.
All right, we're on.
Aerobic training guidelines. As I said, start gradually, work within the target heart range. All of these Fitbit watches and shit that I don't have, most people do. They tell you what your heart rate is. Don't overdo it. Do enough to produce an effect. The significance of intensity, time, and frequency. Drink water. Conclusion, to get in great shape. Some aerobic training will be needed, however, so when it comes to aerobic training, first of all, there's your cardiovascular endurance. And so you're either training to improve your endurance and or to reduce body fat. So most people are going to be working on getting their ass moving to burn more calories to get the fat cells burn off. So that's where you're starting with most people. Now, a byproduct of that is they're going to increase some endurance. But after you get somebody to their goal body weight and you get them pretty lean, it's a lot better on the joints and a lot easier to then do HIIT training, sprint training, and actually work on the aerobic capacity.
Yeah.
So think of it as like part one, get the fat off.
Yeah.
Part two, let's get your capacity up.
Yeah, exactly. Improving strength. Strength is the foundation of everyday acts of athleticism, like hitting a 300-yard drive in golf, and not so human feats like J.J. Watt's 5'1" box jump he can do. That's your height. He can jump on top of your head.
Box jump last week.
J.J. Watt can jump on top of your head.
I was doing half of my height and I wiped out.
Strength is not limited to muscle size or capacity. When you get stronger, you're better able to lose weight.
That is true.
You're able to run faster, and you're able to hit harder.
You can get a lot more done when you're strong.
Exactly. So the goal is always to build your own strength first and your client's strength first.
And it will not make you chunky. If you're
No.
chunky, it's because you're fat. It has nothing to do with your muscles.
the muscle at
Your
all.
muscles are not the problem
Ever. So that's first. Own the big four: the squat, deadlift, bench press, and shoulder press.
Mhm.
Those are the big four. Those are what powerlifters have to do. When I train my athletes in the AIT program, that's what we're training with. So those four exercises are the key foundation exercises to actually make a really hot, awesome, strong body.
And those things work so many muscles. Like my abs get worked so much during squats. I did deadlifts yesterday, and like nothing works my traps and my lats like deadlifts. It doesn't matter if I do pull downs, rows, whatever. It doesn't matter. Deadlifts kill my lats.
Yep.
And bench press actually works my abs too. So there are so many other muscles that you will experience when you do these things that get worked, that if you hit these four, your entire body is worked. You're going to have a great athletically balanced body. And then you'll be able to throw in some lat pull downs and you're fine.
The chin up and row are great moves, but don't make them the focus of a workout. They can be assistance lifts to complement the bench and shoulder press, keeping your pulling muscles in balance with the pressing ones. So when we first got started, we were talking about the pushing muscles, then the pulling muscles. So push is everything that's on the front of the human body. No, it's not. It's everything that's on the back of the human body. Everything on the back of your body pushes.
No.
Everything on the front of your body pulls.
No.
No.
Your chest was a push muscle, not a pull muscle.
No.
No, you did it wrong.
I did.
Yeah, you did it backwards.
So everything here
Pushes.
is pushing.
Yeah.
And then everything on the back is pulling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the pull
All
up is
right. So
working
I
the
was
back.
right, then I thought I was wrong. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So front versus back. And so to stay balanced, you always got to train front and back. And you need to understand that those four things, the squat is doing both. The deadlift is doing both. The bench press, you're hitting it. And the shoulder press, we're hitting both sides. So that's why those are the big four. You always want to start and base a workout around those four. Then you just decorate the workout with other little exercises.
We do a lot of squats. Building strength, the building blocks. Number one, use barbells first because they're the heavier thing. You need all muscle groups to move a barbell, so start there. So whether you're doing your bench press or a squat or a deadlift, that's why it's saying barbell first, because that's going to be the heavier shit that uses more muscles. Keep it simple. Do not do complex moves till proven athletic. And even when you are proven athletic, let me tell you, I have seen some really overcomplicated, crazy shit at the gym, and it's never the most athletic people or the strongest. Don't even get me started. Number 3, maintain a log. Record on your app to see progress. This is true for your food and your lifting and your workouts. So
and that's important to do. So for yourself and for your client, because sometimes people get too caught up in the scale. I'm not losing. I'm not losing. And it's your job to say, no, this is how much muscle you gain. When you first started, I gave you 5-pound dumbbells. Now you lift 15. Mm-hmm. When you first started, we could do the bar on squat. Now you can do 135. Mm-hmm. It's critical to constantly keep people's attention on progress that's outside of just that fucking scale. That's not the only readout of winning, of progress.
And especially for women, you need to give them that validation and feedback. Yes. That, it's not just about the scale, and it's about you actually being strong.
Right.
Like that's actually an awesome thing, especially as a woman.
Right. And there's multiple things that you win at. Right. So a lot of times they're just so unaware. You have to be the one that's actually helping them see, wait, there's a multitude of things that you're actually winning at here.
Number 4, don't overdo it. Short, 40 to 60 minutes for lifting is just right. The energy systems that your body uses, you have about 20 minutes that's your warm-up period. You should get the majority of your heavy weight lifting in between minutes 20 and 40. You should wrap up the majority of your workout within a 40-minute period. And if you pay attention to yourself and your own body when you're working out, you'll notice you start to peter out. I noticed it at about that 45-minute mark. So get that warm-up in, that athletic warm-up in for your body where you're doing lighter exercises to get those muscles firing. Get your heavy shit in, and then wrap that up by about 40 minutes. And then you can do some fine-tuning stuff, some tricep extensions, some abs for those last 20 minutes if you're doing a full 60-minute workout. And that's how I structure my workouts for my clients if they're doing a full hour with me. So you're not trying to kill somebody by minute 11, and you're also, not going hard and heavy with everything for 60 minutes. Number 5, think 5. 5 sets of exercises is best for gaining size and strength. That'll be in your app. Number 6, add weight slowly, no more than 10 pounds per session. Also, don't be one of the, we had a couple guy trainers like this. Don't start strength testing your clients just in the middle of a Tuesday just because. Mm-hmm. So this is not the day to see who can max out on what. Mm-hmm. Just don't do it. So just take it slow. Let them do their 10 reps of something, up at 5 or 10 pounds the next time. Watch them, see how they do. Don't go crazy. Number 7, take to the hills. Cardio and short bursts to get stronger and leaner at the same time. You can also do this on a treadmill. If you do incline, I'll do incline walking or even some incline sprints for 10 seconds. That's going to increase your endurance and burn your ass like crazy. Mm-hmm. 8, balance your strength training. What you do on one side must be done on the other. Sounds really common sense, but you'd be amazed what you see people do.
Exactly.
One side or leg, arm, torso, other side must be trained to remain balanced. Number 9.
So give examples of that.
If they're doing a leg extension or a quad and then a hamstring. Okay, so both. First of all, you'll see some people and they're like, yeah, this arm's weaker, so I'm going to do 20 on this arm, and then I'm going to do 10 over here. Don't do that. Just keep it balanced. Your body will balance itself out. Don't try to balance that shit out yourself with reps. Also, when you're working out, this is kind of like guys and their mirror muscles. You'll see a lot of guys doing biceps and chest because they can see them, and then they neglect their triceps and their back because the mirror's cut off at their waist level. They don't give a fuck about their legs, apparently.
Mirror muscles.
And that's one of the number one things girls judge. So anyway, let's use that on ourselves. If you're looking in the mirror and you're like, well, my quads are looking really good
and the hamstrings are flat.
Yeah, but also you might not even be looking at your hamstrings. So then you have to mentally override that and say, okay, I'm working my quads. Now I got to turn around and work my hamstrings.
Yeah, and get that nice bump on the hamstring.
Exactly.
So the cellulite goes off of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the same is true. If you're noticing like my hip flexors get really tight because my quads are so dominant, and then I have to on purpose work my glutes and my posterior chain to get that front side and my psoas to loosen up. So sometimes you'll notice you have to work a certain muscle group to get another one to calm the fuck down and loosen up. And so I actually have to work my glutes so my psoas will loosen up. It has nothing to do with my glutes. Okay. Do it right. Never practice poor. Poorly.
Poor form.
Poor
Or
form.
permit your clients to.
Yes.
Form is missing. Form
Okay.
is missing.
All right.
Yeah.
Do it right, including spelling and sentences.
Exactly. This is a really good day of spelling. One thing that I didn't go over on that page about the cellulite was about cellulite. First of all, for those of you who don't understand
Are you saying you
cellulite,
missed the whole
cellulite.
topic of cellulite? the
Well,
cellulite
it was.
page?
It could be, but I didn't have anything on there. I don't
I
know why.
know. Where'd it go?
Anyway, cellulite. What is cellulite? It is the third coldest layer of body fat. So cellulite, no matter where it's located, is at the surface. So it's right underneath the skin.
That's why you see
And
it.
that's why you can see it. And it's very cold right there. The warmest place where fat is located is that visceral fat over by your organs. Inside your muscle is the second warmest place, but the coldest place is on top of the muscle. So this is your muscle. On top of it is the actual subcutaneous top layer of fat, or the cellulite layer. The top causes of cellulite, number one, is wine. So all you people who love wine, that's why we got you drinking vodka. So vodka is way less offensive than wine is when it comes to
Tequila.
making cellulite.
Clear liquor, right?
Because, clear liquor, because the wine is just grapes, and grapes are sugar, and the sugar breaks down so rapid, and then the body can't break it down quick enough, and then it only goes into that first layer, that cold layer of fat. So you need to be careful with cellulite when you're talking to people or you're looking at yourself. That layer is very cold, and that's why we started incorporating bringing all that heat from the outside. The waist trainers, the sauna belts, the sauna shorts, the entire sauna gear covering your entire body or your arms. You need to bring some external heat to hit that cellulite if someone is actually really cellulite dominant.
The reason wine is a problem, and keep this in mind when you're picking your drinks. So clear liquor, even if you do like a skinny margarita or something with, keep the sugar out of it. The reason we're saying keep the sugar out is because your body has sugar to deal with and alcohol to deal with. And alcohol is a toxin, so your body's like, hey, 911, we have to deal with this toxic thing first. We have to deal with this alcohol. We'll deal with the sugar later. Let's stuff it in the fat cells. So that's what happens.
Yeah, and they both break down differently. So the body uses one system to break the alcohol calorie down and a whole nother system to break down the sugar.
But it has to do the alcohol first.
Yeah,
so when you're
exactly.
drinking wine, just remember, think about like
the alcohol.
stuffing sugar in a fat cell and your fat cell blowing up, and then you'll be like, vodka soda, please.
Exactly. This is another real story. So I was training a couple fitness competitors, and one was very fit, arms, waist, everything looked really good. And the tops of her thighs, because that's the main place where wine deposits cellulite, is the front entire thigh, from the knee all the way up to the hip bone. And nothing was getting that fat off. And sure enough, I found out she's drinking wine. And so when we changed her from drinking wine, all that cellulite left her entire leg. So that is a critical thing for you to know for yourself and for your client. So it's typically the females that are drinking it. So that's the whole thing that you're going to have to convince them of if they want a result. If they don't give a shit about their legs, they love their wine more than their thighs, they don't care about cellulite, then they don't need to change it. They can keep drinking it and just keep destroying their legs if that's what they want to do. That's not your business. So if they're like, no, I don't like the appearance of it, I am going to compete, I don't want that cellulite, then they 100% have to change what they're consuming. So cellulite's number one.
That's why Bethany Frankel from the Housewives show made her whole multi-million-dollar skinny girl cocktail fortune off of that shit.
Off of not being with wine, off of the vodka. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, off of that margarita mix.
Yeah. Then another place that I've seen a lot of cellulite on females is when they have the small upper body. So they're pretty tiny on top, got a small waist, got pretty ripped arms, and all that fat is concentrated on their ass. So it'll be a ton of fat. I've seen quarter dollar level dimples on asses before with fitness competitors that I had to get big chunks of cellulite off of them. Again, it was just too much fruit, too much grapes, bananas. Grapes are good for you. Bananas are good for you. No, not for that girl. Bananas and grapes were horrible for her. They were just tearing her ass up and putting so much cellulite on her butt. So when we switched, got those type of fruits out, switched the fruit over to a fibrous fruit, which was a berry, all of it was off her butt within 6 weeks. Not one dimple left on her ass. So that's how fast cellulite can be left, but it's a diet. So it's cellulite, always know this. controlled by the diet, controlled by the diet, controlled by the diet, and bringing heat to the outside of the body because it's so cold on that outside layer. All right, we're almost done. Best home fitness equipment. So now this is the final part before we go over our recipe of the week. So we're almost done here. Best home fitness equipment when you are doing either for yourself or when you're telling your client, what should I buy? So 1 set of dumbbells to get started. If they can get a jump rope, fine. A mat, a step is always pretty good to have for sure. A band that's open on each end. And then I know that they sell those, the vinyl round bands. I hate those things. I love these fabric ones now. So the fabric round band, that's so much better.
The ones we use.
That's the ones that TBX uses. That band is so much better than the vinyl round band. So that would be basic setup.
Yeah.
Then if they're going to build their gym over time, or you're going to build your gym over time, your setup 2, you add some kettlebells. You get a bench press, even if it's just a flat bench, or you get the one like Cindy has, the bench that has the whole weight set with it, with the barbell, 110-pound weight set is the common one. 2 to 5 sets of dumbbells. So what they're going to need, not 2 pounds to 5 pounds, just 2 to 5 sets of dumbbells, plus all the items from the basic setup. Then as it keeps growing in the home gym, setup 3, add a piece of cardio equipment. So cardio equipment, add that to everything that you see on step basic and setup 2. Stationary bike, I like the elliptical the best. That's actually one of the easiest ones to stay on for the longest. Or the actual elliptical or the treadmill. Again, if someone's a walker, treadmill is the best thing for them. And then setup 4, add a full multi-unit home gym, plus all the equipment that you see on there would be the final step. Like you can see in the picture there, that multi-unit is all the way in the back. So this would just, as you can see with this picture, you got a rack of dumbbells, you got your bench, you got your cardio equipment, and you got your multi-unit. And that's ideal. That's an ideal little gym right there. So, but if they want a home gym. So whenever you have a client, you might have a very, very wealthy client. They want you to train them from home, whether you go there or you do it on Zoom. This will be the list that you tell them to actually purchase everything from. So that gives you an idea what you should have and what you tell them to have when you start to train people. And then the final part here that we're on is the recipe assignment for the week. This tastes so good. You're going to love this. Again, there's 100% beef sausage for those of you that eat no pork. If you don't eat Polish sausage and just use beef sausage.
By the way, Melinda was trying to make this really quick before we got on here, and we didn't have time. But we were going to actually eat it for dinner and show you.
Okay, so we're going to take some photos of the shirataki meal.
Oh,
that's the meal. That's the meal. So we're going to take some photos of that. It's the shirataki made with unbelievable grilled blackened chicken. Then we made a homemade fresh, what is it? Pesto with just walnut, pine nuts, olive oil, and some spinach. Put that all over it, and then the shirataki, and then some mushrooms. And so we're going to take some photos of that to show you how that actually turned out. But this recipe of the week is just rice cauliflower, and then just grill up Polish sausage, chop it up, chop up your spring onion, and then you can chop up either asparagus if you like that, or mushrooms, and then some smoky horseradish in it. I made the whole thing in a skillet. It was all done in 10 minutes. So after I grilled all the meat first and then put all the rest of it in there. Fantastic. So filling, especially if you are starting to work out more intense. So it's extremely filling. So it's a good lunch meal. So test that out for this week's recipe assignment. All right. So that's everything for week 5 on Fit Coach Academy. So